Welcome to Simply Liminal. My name is Stacy. This is my daily 2-card reading for Tuesday, March 5th, 2024. This week, we are working with the Gods and Titans Oracle by Stacy DeMarco. And as I've said in previous videos, I just got this deck, and the first day that I got it in the mail was the day that I did my first reading with this deck, which was Leap Day, as a matter of fact, February 29th. And I, so far, am loving this deck. I'm learning it along with you guys, but I'm loving the message from the card deck, from the author Stacy DeMarco. It's just been great. So I will say that before doing any reading, I open a circle of light and love and protection around myself that extends to me, obviously, and these readings, but also to anyone who watches these readings, whether it's today, tomorrow, next week, next year. No matter when you come to this reading, you're protected. I also believe that no matter when you come to this reading, because it might not be on the date that's on the timestamp, but that there is something important that you were meant to learn from the reading. There was some message for you. Timing is divine. It doesn't fall in line with the earth calendars that we have created for ourselves. So when you come to these readings, no matter what the date is, know that there's a message there for you. And I hope you find it, and I hope you see it, and I hope it helps you. So with these 2-card readings, I look at the energy and the focus each day. So the energy is the force that's directed towards us from the universe. And then the focus is our intention, our effort, or response that we put into that energy. And that's important. If we just were like a ship battered around at sea by the energy around us, then we wouldn't have anything to do. We were just kind of at the will of the fates. But we have choices on that ship. We can change the rudder and steer the ship a different direction. We can move our sails up and down. We have choices. We have ways to respond that can help us in this process. I also want to say before I pull these cards is that it was really important to me to work with a Divine Masculine deck. 2-ish weeks ago, more than 2 weeks ago now, I worked with a Divine Goddess deck. It was called the Goddess Power Oracle from Colette Baron Reed, and I love the energy of the Divine Feminine, but I feel like the Divine Feminine and Divine Masculine need to be in balance. They have to be in balance. That's how we work best, when things are in balance, not when they're out of balance, which I think our world has been out of balance for a long time. Thousands of years, thousands and thousands of years out of balance. And we weren't seeing that happen to us from the Divine Masculine pushing the Divine Feminine down. It's that sort of corrupted masculine, you know, the shadow side of the masculine. And it's time the Divine Feminine is kind of rising up, and hopefully it doesn't overpower the masculine again. I mean, we need to be in balance, and I hope that that's where we're at now in the world, or what we're coming to anyways, in this transition we're going through. Okay, let's look at the energy for the day. Okay, and then let's look at our focus. All right. Wow, I slapped them down really crooked. All right, so this is shiny deck. I'm doing the best I can with the glare, and I've also got them bent a little bit just from my shuffling and my board, but right now we're looking good. So let us look at the energy for the day. Oh, we have Typhon. This was, I think, from our very first day of readings. So I find that interesting. Anyways, Typhon is a Titan god from Greek mythology, and he is associated with anger and rage, because really that was why he was created, or the energy that his mother was carrying in her heart and soul when she created him is anger and rage. And so that is what he expresses. But I will say, we've had a couple repeat cards, and he is one of them. And I just want to say that's one of the reasons I like to work with a deck for a certain amount of time. For these readings, I decided on 7 days. But so you can get a feel for the deck, and you can see if there's repeat energy, like we're seeing here, anger. I think he was on the first day. I feel like it was, I might be wrong. Of course, I'm not writing any of these down. Like, why would I be organized like that? But I kind of think it was our very first day of readings with this card. And I was like, ooh, this is interesting. Well, I think March is an interesting month anyways. But so we're dealing with a lot of intense intense energy. And that sometimes can make us feel anger and rage because we don't know what to do with the intense energy that's coming at us. Or sometimes the intense energy that's coming at us is anger and rage, and we don't really know what to do with that either. So let me find him in the book here. I'm going to read about him again. Next page, here he is. So the message is, be aware of how you handle anger and rage, your own and that of others. Seeking an emotional balance leads to peace. I'm going to try to put my book here and hide that glare for a second. Typhon is perhaps one of the most terrifying titans of ancient Greece. Gargantuan in size, Typhon possesses a huge scale-like body like a dragon and the head and a torso of a man. His eyes shoot fire, but the most frightening thing about him is his seemingly unquenchable rage. Typhon is the last child of Gaia. Now, Gaia was a Titan goddess, but she is also what we think of as this Earth. So keep that in mind. Gaia took the side of the Titans during the war with Zeus and the Olympians. The Titans and all who fought with them were defeated, and many died. This gave Gaia a hankering for revenge. Her words, not mine, but I like that she used hankering in here. Typhon, almost from the moment of his birth, had one reason for living: the expression of rage. After many long battles with both parties injured in many versions of the story, Zeus finally defeated the mighty Typhon by lighting up the sky with thunderbolts and striking the monster. Zeus then imprisoned him under Mount Etna. It is said that Typhon still struggles with his rage beneath the black, smoldering earth, causing the volcano to rumble, smoke, and erupt to this day. Should Typhon pay you a visit today, it is a signal to be very aware of how you handle anger and rage. Perhaps you need to learn how to manage more productively the anger you feel or express it in a more healthy way. Expressing no anger at all is not a solution either. Passive aggression is simply hidden anger and causes just as many problems, in particular over the long term. Anger in itself is not inherently negative emotion and does, in its purest form, not have the power to protect the positive intent of protection. Being angry is not unhealthy, but we often feel it is, and so deal with it in unhealthy ways. Explaining why we are angry or upset instead of yelling or pretending it doesn't matter is one way to do this. I think explanation is very important. And sometimes it's so hard when we're mad. Like, the last thing you want to do is say, look, I'm going to tell you why I'm mad. No, you just want to rant and rave and kind of be a jerk. But really, the best thing to do is say, I want you to understand why I'm mad. I'm not necessarily mad at you. I'm just mad at the situation, and I want you to know how I feel. And then maybe you can understand why I just blew my top, you know. So again, I think it's really interesting that we're getting this coming at us as an energy card. And I have said in these readings, I think March is a very intense month always. It blows in with wind and energy, and it's like whoosh. It's like kind of dense, but just like wham, here we are. Anyway, let's look at the focus card today, and we can see what we will have to deal with this energy that's coming at us today. This is a little different. I think the last time we had Typhon, we had I think it was Achilles, but now we have Hermes, and this is the Greek god of communication. And this is exciting because I find a lot of connections with this deity. He is seen here as a messenger. He is considered a messenger of the gods because of communication. He also has winged sandals to help him get around to communicate well. He's also got wings on his helmet here, but he doesn't mess around. He's sometimes a little bit of a trickster, but mostly he's just like, look, I got to pass on this message to you. It's coming from Zeus. He's not very happy. I'm sorry I have to be the one to tell you this, but here it is. But communication is very important. As I was just kind of talking about how we really don't feel like wanting to tell people, this is why I'm so angry about this, or this is why I'm so upset about this decision that happened, say at work. But I'm going to tell you why I think it doesn't work. It's not going to be helpful, or it's going to slow our process down. And communication, you know, things might not change, but at least the other party knows how you feel. So let's look at what this card says for Hermes. I gotta find him here in the book. All right, so communication is his message. It says, the spotlight is on your communication skills. This is a time to develop your emotional intelligence and integrity. Although sometimes thought of merely as a messenger of the gods, Hermes is so much more. He is distinctive in his winged helmet with wings on his feet, catechus in hand, and at times mischief in his heart. I didn't mention he was kind of a trickster. Not quite like Loki, but ugh. Hermes facilitates communication on all levels, in particular between gods and humans, and he is lord over all nature of physical exchange. Sometimes delivering messages needs a fair dose of cunning, and Hermes is just right for the task. As early as his birth, he was considered a tricky customer, naughtily stealing Apollo's cattle while still a baby. More seriously, he is considered a herdsman of the dead, someone who escorts the newly deceased souls to the afterlife. Often these beings were called psychopomps. I was just going to say that, psychopomps. Hecate is another psychopomp. Because of his ability to cross barriers and the accuracy of his message transmission, he is also the god of divination. He learned the art further from Threa, the three nymphs of the Greek tradition. Divination, I love it. I mean, I'll even make heavy decisions with the coin toss if I need to. Flip that quarter. Being able to express yourself well or being a good negotiator is a handy skill to have in modern life as well as in ancient times. In the classic Iliad poem by Homer, Hermes helped King Priam of Troy sneak into the Greek encampment to negotiate the release of his son Hector's body after Achilles refused to give him back. Priam's words convinced Achilles to allow a worthy burial for the brave prince. Hermes encourages you to develop your skills in emotional and rational intelligence and to be able to express yourself with honesty in real time. Also, it may well be the time to consult your favorite form of divination regularly. I mean, flip that quarter if you need to. Grab a pendulum. I mean, these are things that can help us make decisions, especially like yes-no decisions, like pendulums. I have one right here. Here's my pendulum. This is my favorite one. Carnelian. But like I said, I've made a lot of major decisions in my life with a coin flip. Or years and years ago, I'd take a deck of cards and I would say, okay, red is a yes answer and black is a no answer. And you got 52 cards and you just like shuffle that deck and ask a question. And what do you get? Do you get red? Yes. Do you get black? No. Your question is answered. There's all sorts of different ways for divination, as well as there's all sorts of ways for communication. But I think it's important to know that clear communication, even if you have to be a little tricky about it, is going to help with this anger and rage energy that's coming at us, okay? So, I hope you found this reading helpful. I'm sure excited about this deck. I am so far loving it. Anyways, I would love to hear what you have to say about this deck or the readings. Any comments you have would be deeply appreciated. Please like, please subscribe, please share these videos. I'd love to help this channel grow so I can help spread the messages of not just this deck, but how oracle cards in general are a beautiful way that spirit can talk to us and communicate things to us that we otherwise wouldn't know. It opens a channel of communication. There's Hermes again, that we need in our life. If we're open to it, that can help us grow and become more, because we're learning things that we need to learn to help us become more. So thank you so much. My name is Stacy. Thank you for visiting Simply Liminal with me.